Welcome back to Navy Sports Magazine. Time to shed the light on spring football. And, of course, a guy that's going to get a lot of attention because he's new around here. It's defensive coordinator Brian Newberry. First of all, welcome to Annapolis. And I guess as every coach tries to continue that trajectory of their coaching career, got to be an exciting time to arrive here at the Naval Academy.
It is, man. Just it wasn't something I was looking for. But, yeah, what an unbelievable opportunity and just a real privilege and an honor to be here coaching these young men.
To backtrack a little bit, how on earth did you all get Kennesaw State up to speed so fast? Because as someone who's watched FCS football for a long time, I know how challenging it is. But, man, you guys got, to the number 3 seed in a big hurry down there. How'd y'all do it?
Yeah, a lot of hard work. We started that thing from scratch. I was there when we had no players. And a huge amount of credit to our head coach, Brian Bohannon, who's a former Navy coach here, and just did an unbelievable job of creating a culture at Kennesaw State of just attitude, toughness. Our kids played exceptionally hard. They were tough. Never stepped on the field. We thought we weren't going to win, and he created that culture and gave those kids that mindset and that confidence, and helped run the option there. Gave us a chance. It was an equalizer. We played good on defense, and that area is a pretty fertile recruiting area as well. So we had some good players and got those kids to play hard and buy into a culture and a mindset. But he did a great job getting that program going.
For you individually and looking around the coaching profession, what the heck is it about the Elon portal that seems to get guys that have come through there and have had some success along the way? What was that like for you? And obviously, what role did that time at Elon play for you?
Well, it played a big role because I obviously worked with Jay Bateman while I was there. He was a tremendous coach and somewhat of a mentor for me, a guy that I stay in touch with and refer to a lot. Pete Limbo was the head coach there at the time, excellent head coach, and hired a lot of good coaches that came through there. And so I was around a lot of good people, a lot of good coaches, and you know how that works, man. Good coaches go on and do good things.
No doubt. Obviously now here, you can watch film of last year till you're blue in the face, but now that you guys are actually on the field, you can see people moving around. As you working with Coach Lolo and obviously the rest of your defensive staff, as you all try to figure out exactly what's going on here, what is that challenge now here through spring football, just to identify what individual players can do as you all try to figure out what you're going to do team-wise eventually in the fall?
Well, it's tough. I went back and watched every game the last 2 years, and we graduated a lot of guys last year. So a lot of the guys I was watching on film aren't still here, and so we got a lot of new faces, a lot of young guys, and so the biggest evaluation tool for us was the fourth quarter stuff that we did leading up to spring ball, to see how those guys move around, see how they work, and obviously now to get out on the field and get on the grass. That's when we're going to find out a lot about these guys. But I've been impressed. I've been impressed with the work ethic, the way these guys go about their business. We're pretty athletic in the back end. We've got some good length. We've got some guys that are big up front. Probably need to lose a little bit of weight so we can move a little bit better. But been really impressed with what I've seen so far, and there's certainly some pieces to work with in the program right now.
To be able to have brought some guys with you that are familiar with you, how much does that speed the process up of teaching what you all are going to be teaching with this defense?
Tremendously. I mean, it's two guys that are great people that I know and trust in this business. They know me, they know my strengths and weaknesses, and they know how I communicate with the players. They carry on that communication with their players, and so it's critical in a transition like this to have guys that you've worked with before, that you know and you trust, and you're not coaching coaches quite as much as you would otherwise walking into a situation where you had a completely new staff.
When you look at the schedule that basically is played here, you see the same teams every year with the exception of maybe a new opponent at the top of that schedule. You've got challenges with option football, as you're familiar with. You've got teams like Central Florida who will, spread it out. They'll run it down your throat. Memphis will try and do the same thing. As you try to identify a philosophy that you can come up with here that, tries to keep it simple for the players, but obviously has to be adjusted depending on who the opponent is. How much of a challenge is that now, trying to figure out exactly how you want to utilize the 11 football players you can put on the field?
It's a big challenge, and not only trying to figure out what scheme you want to implement, but understanding who your players are and what you can and what you can't do. And obviously we're in a tremendous league, a tremendous offensive league, where they're going to throw it around a lot, good skill players. So you're going to see a lot of different styles of offense, from the option, like you said, to playing teams that are wide open, tempo, teams. And so there's got to be a certain amount of flexibility that's built into your base defense that you can get lined up to anything that you see. And structurally, we're built that way, and hopefully, we have the right pieces here to make that fit what we want to do.
Obviously, it's not your first transition, but at the same time, it's the challenge to build trust with those new players. So, as they see the things you're asking them to do, they do it with a little more vim and vigor, and obviously some trust that you're trying to put them in the best situation.
Yeah, I think I go back to when I played and had a bunch of coaching changes, and anytime you get a new staff, you want to make an impression. And I think those guys are trying to make an impression right now, and they've all got a clean slate, and that's good for guys that haven't played a lot or guys that are disgruntled, and the guys that have been playing keeps them on their toes a little bit, I think. But
is that something that you and your staff have to do a job of stressing, that hey, every position literally here is open right now?
Absolutely, and we based our depth chart in the spring off of our fourth quarter runs, purely off of effort. We talk about playing harder than anybody in the country, and we mean that. And we're going to play guys that sell out for their teammates and run the football first and foremost. Yeah, so and the trust thing is, if kids feel like you care about them and you have their best interests in mind, and that's the most important thing that we're trying to create right now with these players, that they trust us and they trust only that we care about them as people, not just football players, and that we're going to put them in the right position on the football field, and that's stuff that's earned from our end too.
The rules of the game work so much against the defense right now. How do you get those guys to believe in, hey, we're going to put you in a position where you can compete with these high-flying offenses, and despite all the great powerhouse offenses you'll see, to try and put them in that position? Because I know right now, as a defensive player, it's not necessarily the best unit to be on at times right now in this sport.
But it's a lot of fun. It's a fast game now. It's wide open, a lot of perimeter stuff, and so you're right, though. It is geared a little bit more toward the offense. But I think the way we're built and things we're doing defensively, the game always evolves, the rules evolve, and those kind of things. So we just got to stay on the cutting edge of what we're doing.
I was going to say, too, how much of defense right now is as much about effort as it is talent? Because you can have some talented guys, but they don't put forth the effort out there.
Right.
There's a guy waiting right behind them trying to take that spot.
Yeah. Well, I think effort covers up a lot of things. It covers up inadequacies. It covers up mistakes. It can cover up missed tackles. So that's why we preach that above everything else. But the way the game's evolved now, everything's in space. They're trying to create matchups, trying to get the ball on the perimeter, and so you've got to be a great tackling team, and you've got to know where your help is, and you've got to know how to fit things correctly. And so it's important to know not only what your job is, but what the guys next to your job is as well.
I know finally, in defense, through the years we talk about it's either a 4-3, it's a 3-4, it's a 4-2-5, or whatever. How much of it now is just putting the 11 guys in places to just simply try and stop people? It may necessarily not look like a base 3-4, 4-3, 4-2-5, or whatever.
Yeah, I always struggle with that question. People ask me what we are. Where I say we're a multiple 4-2-5, some 3-4 principles. So we're whatever we need to be that week. And of course, we have a base defense, but we're able to kind of melt into anything that we need to be that week. And that's the way I'd like to be built, and I think we have the personnel to do that.
Well, offenses can be multiple. Why can't defenses?
That's right, no doubt.
Welcome to Annapolis, and we hope
Thanks,
this is the first of many conversations.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, Brian Newberry, the new defensive coordinator here for the Navy Midshipmen on the Navy Sports Magazine.